All right, so when we left off, we were talking about this profile page. So let's create that now. I'm going to right click, new, empty activity, and I'm going to call this the profile activity. And with all things Android, we need to set up our binding class. So I'm going to say private late init var binding You do that enough times, it just becomes automatic. So I've added line 8 here, which is our setting up our variable, our binding variable, to be of type activity profile binding. And then inside the onCreate method, we inflate that, so that's where it's connecting all of our view elements into this activity profile binding class. And then we set our content to view the root of that. So now we can start to lay out our profile. So one of the things we're going to do in our grid recycler activity grid recycler, we included this toolbar. So I'm just going to copy it from the activity grid recycler, and I'm going to paste it in here. So the thing is with the navigation, you can just paste it into every different activity, just like that. And it's done. And then what we're going to have is a couple of text view objects at the top. So let's go into design mode. I'm going to have text view for the user's name and another text view for their email. And we're going to get that from our auth, from our Firebase authentication. It's going to give us the username and their email address. Okay, so I just put two text view objects onto the scene here. And then at the bottom, I'm going to put another text view item. It's going to be our terms of use. There was a request to push to GitHub, so sure. See, my commit message is incorrect here. So I added a profile activity. Sorry if you'd asked for that on break. I didn't see it in time. So I've gone to split view now, so that we can tune these a little bit. So this top one, where's my top one? There we go. This is going to be the username text view. And you can see when I changed the ID there, it broke it down here. So I'm just going to paste that in. And I'm going to change the text from Android to tools, so it only shows up in here. And let's call this, I don't know, Aristotle. And we'll give him a bigger text size. There's our bigger heading size. And then this one here is going to be our email view. So I'll do Shift F6 in case anything's referring to it, and I'll call this the email text view. And again, change the text to be tools, and let's do philosopher at now for this last one down here, this is going to be our terms of service. And so I'm going to call this the terms text view. Now the text that we put in here is actually going to be that lorem ipsum big long chunk of text, because I want to show you how to create a scrolling item. And so let me grab that and put it into something for us. It's a very long string, so you can copy it from the paste of code. And where we're going to put that is in the strings .xml file. So if I go to values, strings, after my little array, I'm just going to paste it in. Looks like I got cut off. There's no problem with this. It's such a there we go. That is a lot of text. You're right. So again, I just put that into our strings resource file, and it will automatically wrap it and do different things for us, which is nice because depending on the screen size, it may not be quite as tall. So now if we go back to our profile activity, and in here where it says text, if we refer to our terms conditions, so we're going to say at string /terms, boom, all of a sudden it populates that humongous string in there, and it actually makes it so we can't see our application very well. So we need to do a few things to control this monster. So one of the things we can do is we can say max lines equals 20. So that constrains it to be 20 lines. But the problem is the reader actually can't scroll automatically. So they can only see 20 lines. So what we need to do is add in the ability to have some scroll bars. So we're going to say scroll bars, vertical. So now you can see there's a vertical scroll bar off to the side here. It's not operational yet. We actually have to enable it in the in our controller. I don't know why they designed it that way, but they did. So we've got scroll bars. We've got maximum of 20 lines in here. And I think everything else should be good. Maybe we need a little margin around this because it's pretty tight to the edges. So I'm just going to say margin and our standard margin. Seems really tight to the edges. I don't know why the margin's not showing. Shows on the bottom only. It's weird. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it too much, so we don't have a ton of time left. So now it looks decent, right? And what we want to do now is we're going to, in the controller, we're going to add in the ability to scroll, and we're going to update our menu so that this toolbar is operational. So let's go to our profile here. Profile activity. And first thing we'll do is the scroll bars. So binding and term text view movement method equals scrolling movement method. Don't ask me why you need to do it. You just need to do it. So that's step one. And to enable our toolbar, I'm going to go to my grid recycler activity. And now I can finish this. So I can say if the action profile is selected, that we want to go to the profile activity. And let me add a comment here. Now, to make this a little easier to see, I'm going to do something called, I'm going to hold Control, Shift, and push minus. And that collapses my entire class to one line, so I can expand it slowly. And everything's nice and compact here. And if I expand my onCreate, what I can see is, in order to use my toolbar, I need this line of code here and these two methods, right? The onCreate options menu, so that's putting our menu into the toolbar, and we need this on options item selected. So that's telling the what to do when we select an icon. So now I really just actually have to grab those lines. And I find it easier to do it with everything collapsed like this, just a little easier to see. So I'm just going to do Control C to copy it. And then I'm going to go to my profile activity. And it was right at the end of my onCreate. So I'm going to take that last little bracket and highlight it and do Control V. So now the toolbar is the same toolbar, and the menu is the same menu, The only thing that's going to change is what to do if an item is selected. So action add is going to be the same. Action list, in this case, I want to go to the grid recycler activity.